Welcome back. You are listening to Passages, and sadly, it's just Jason and me here again. Tim is in Dallas, or on his way back from Dallas.
Hopefully he'll be landing here in the next hour or so, but if I stay up much later to do this podcast, I might start snoring while we're on the air.
But I believe we did offer...
Oh, we did.
We told him, we said, Tim, you can get off that plane and march yourself right over to the studio.
I even offered to go pick him up, bring him here.
Right.
But I don't blame him. I think his flight gets in at like 10:30 or 11.
Wouldn't it be funny, though, to see jet-lagged Tim trying to put two words together?
I bet he'd be a little punchier than he normally is. So,
having traveled with him a lot, I can just imagine. And it's not just him, any of us, after what he's been through this week. See, it would be fun.
That's what I missed. We got here in 2001, and I never got to go on a Russia trip, one of these long mission trips with y'all. And I that's one regret I have from my early years here, is I didn't have the time, or didn't make the time to go on one of those trips.
I'll tell you something, brother, I'm not going back.
Well, the
I don't think I
stories,
am.
I'm sure the stories you tell, we get the best moments of it, or the funny moments. But I think the reality of, how long did y'all spend in a van one time driving from one place to the other? It was like 20 hours?
Over 20.
Yeah,
over 20 hours.
That does not sound fun.
From Moscow to a city called
But the
Volgograd.
one story that came out of that, well, there may be two stories that came out of that, it just sounded like an awesome trip. But,
yeah, well, you condense it down to the...
Yeah, when you condense
they were
it down
good
to
trips.
about 20 minutes out of the 20 hours. So.
They were good trips. And I do think back on those fondly.
Oh, yeah.
The travel, though, man, I'm getting to be a wimp on long-distance drives, let alone flights.
Well, I'm on March 1st, I'm making the red-eye flight from Atlanta to Lima. I think we leave at 10 and land at 5:30 in the morning. That's going to be a rough one.
That's all the same time zone, right?
Yeah, thankfully.
10 to what?
10 to 5:30 a.m. No, it'll be Eastern to Central time zone. So
that's a long flight.
It's a long one.
Yeah. Well, did you know we got another total solar eclipse coming up?
A total eclipse of your heart, or like
that's something different.
True solar eclipse. No, I have not heard that.
Yeah, you remember the one in 2017?
Yeah, I think.
Did you view it?
I did. In fact, the most clicked on post on our Facebook page for the office was, we built a little box that you could look at the solar eclipse with. And I mean, we had thousands of clicks and likes and shares. It was a really cool thing. Well, it's the closest thing to going viral I've ever done until this podcast.
So you're an eye doctor. What would happen for real if you look at an eclipse?
If you stare at it too long, it'll burn your macula in both eyes.
So why is that scientifically? Because something is covering the sun. Seems like it'd be safer to look at the sun when it's covered.
But the problem is
wide open.
You still have UV coming around it. It's just as dangerous to look at the sun. It'll just do it faster if there's not an eclipse. But because something's covering the sun, people think, hey, I can look at this and watch it.
Oh, they're less protective of their eyes.
They're getting more exposure and getting more UV damage.
Okay, especially when there's something strange happening to the sun.
They think, hey, I can stare at this because it's being masked by the moon, or by the shadow of the moon or the earth, or whatever it is. But they're watching it and they're thinking, hey, it's dim, I can look at this. And so you'll look at it longer, and you can fry your eyes doing it. I saw a guy at the VA hospital years and years ago that had solar maculopathy, where he had burned the macula on his retina from staring at the sun. So it's out there. It happens.
Well, we've got a total solar eclipse coming up, and that was pretty exciting. This time around is supposed to be better than 2017.
Now, will we be in the region of the country that gets to see it?
We are, yes.
Oh, that's cool.
A total solar eclipse, which happens when the moon crosses paths with the sun, blocking it from view. So it's not a shadow, it's the actual moon. Will take place on April 8th, 2024. That's my mom's birthday. Should be easy to remember. Happy birthday, Mom. You get a solar eclipse.
I'm writing down the date so that I won't forget it.
The eclipse will first be visible in Mexico before making its way across the U.S. and exiting North America on the Atlantic coast of, Newfoundland.
Newfoundland. Now, is it coming across the southern border legally or illegally?
Well, thankfully, this is going to happen before Trump gets in office.
It would be bad for the eclipse to just stop right there at the border.
Right. According to NASA, this event will be different from past total solar eclipses. Scientists say that the sun's corona, its outermost layer, will be more visible than the last total solar eclipse in 2017 due to the sun's heightened activity at the time of the event. The sun has different activity.
Yeah, it's a constant reaction going on. So sometimes it's hotter, sometimes it's cooler.
And they apparently know when it's going to be more active.
Yeah.
The 2024 eclipse will also be visible for nearly 2 minutes longer than 2017's. So that sounds fun. We're going to get, whoever makes those glasses is going to make a killing again.
Yeah, I should have bought a huge supply of them the last time it came around, or went around to trash cans and got all the ones out and then just resold them for this eclipse.
I thought, in 2017, I was hearing people say, this will never happen in our lifetimes again. Better get out there and look at it while you can. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and here we are again.
Yeah, it's still in my lifetime, just a few years down the road.
The path of the totality is longer, meaning the eclipse will be visible to more people than the most recent total solar eclipse. About 31.6 million people live in the 200-mile path of totality, more than doubling the number of people who will be able to see the event since the last of its kind. And I think this is interesting because I'm reading this off the BBC, so it's written by people who won't get to witness this.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
It is. And it makes me also wonder how many crazy predictions are going to be coming out between now and April.
So we got war in Israel.
Oh, yeah.
And a total
eclipse.
I mean, I hope it won't be happening.
There is going to be some crazy predictions coming out with this.
You got everything lining up for Armageddon.
Yeah. The good thing is the Bible's pretty cut and dry that no one knows the date, so
yes.
I think we'll be okay.
Mark 13:32, if you want to fact check Jason.
Yeah, I think if we're saying April 8th, then we're safe on April 8th.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's some crazy thoughts, but that's cool. So if you want to see how to make the box, that you can look at it. You just take a cereal box and do it. You can go to Leeds Family Eye Care and search in 2017. There's a video there. Just go to our Facebook page and share it, like it. I look a lot younger. I have a little bit more hair, and I'm probably a little skinnier than I am now. Who knows? I fluctuate.
You're back and forth.
Yeah.
It's so my wife did this great meme or whatever you call it on Facebook with the glasses. We were at Polishing the Pulpit in Sevierville for the convention up there that last time in 2017. And so they had all the glasses that people could wear. And so when it happened, we all stepped outside. My dad was there, my father-in-law was there, and I was there, and the kids. And she took a picture. She made this frame with 4 quadrants. And in one, there's her dad looking at it with the glasses. And another, there's me with the glasses. And another one, there's my dad. And then she had found a similar photo of Marty McFly with these similar glasses on, looking up. It was perfect.
Oh, it is.
I got to find that for you to see. It's
I would
hilarious.
love to see it. So did she frame the picture?
Well, I said
or did
frame. It's like a Facebook picture.
like a picture.
A square with 4.
Oh yeah, I would love to see it. That's pretty funny.
It was. Hilarious.
I like the creativity of that. Yeah. I did not get the glasses the last time it happened because I thought, I don't know, it's just not that super exciting. So I didn't get the glasses. I think this year I'm going to get them because looking at it with the little pinhole camera was kind of cool. But to be able to actually look at it would be kind of a neat thing, I think.
Yeah.
I'd like to figure out how to take some pictures of it with like filters and things.
I'm sure there's information out there about how to do that.
I have a month and a half, 2 months to figure it out. I'm sure I'll get right on looking that up.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Top priority.
Yeah, top. So, one of the things we've done a good bit in this room, and Tim usually brings these for us, I think you brought one a couple of weeks ago, is a list. And I'm bringing my first list to the podcast.
This is a momentous occasion.
It is a momentous, because normally it's not a true crime story. It's not a dumb criminal story. It involves no police. But I was...
No animal control?
No animal control. No, I mean, none of my regular things are here. So I found 5 modern traditions that are stupid. And I thought
I can add to that list.
I thought that this would be a good jumping off spot for some modern traditions. And part of me wanted to save this for Tim because I know he's got some funnies. We may have to revisit this list at a later date, but I couldn't resist going with it. So the article talks about some of the funny things that people have done in the past. And I just want to get to the top, the 5, and then we can add to it. Number 5, gender reveals. And I applaud whoever wrote this article, because the gender reveal, the balloon with the stuff, or the, shooting a thing of tannerite and this blue powder or pink. It's just what happened to just walking around with a picture from the ultrasound saying it's a boy. That's how we
get away with that when we're supposed to allow our children to choose their gender.
Oh, that's an
when
angle.
They're ready for
I really hadn't even thought about it.
I don't know how that survived our age of political correctness.
That is something that
How dare
that may be coming to a close soon.
Determine their children's gender before birth.
So I guess in those gender reveal parties, the powder, instead of being pink or blue, would be purple, and eventually the kid can decide if it's
you have the gender reveal when the child is 5 or 6 or whenever
that's true,
to use the proper pronoun.
But you can see, if you ever really want to get online, there's some really funny gender reveals that go bad. That's probably the best thing.
I saw one the other day where a kid, like a sibling, messed it up.
Oh yeah.
Pitching a fit or something, just not acting
there's
right.
Always, but that may be the only good thing that came out. But I know y'all, I remember your kids, you didn't do gender reveals, we didn't do gender reveals. It's like...
No, it's a pretty new thing.
It's a new thing, and I'm glad that they weren't around when we were there. Okay, that's number 5. Number 4, love locks. Have you been anywhere, and you see this, I've seen this in New York, I've seen it a couple places traveling, where people put a padlock on a barbed wire fence, like on a bridge or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's just dumb.
Yeah. It doesn't work.
Do you know what it creates?
It doesn't keep kids together.
A job for someone to have to eventually come along with a grinder and cut all those locks off, or a bolt cutter or something.
It's vandalism, right?
It is.
We're
it
sounding
absolutely
like crotchety
is.
old men.
I am a crotchety old man.
But
in a young man's
getting
body.
A padlock and locking it onto a chain link fence is not the hard work of commitment. Well, I mean, you're going to walk away and never visit that again.
What better way to say I love you than by putting a piece of garbage on a fence?
Right. What happened to carving it into a birch tree?
Yeah.
I mean, then at least you're putting some initials on there. You've got a heart.
Yeah, and and eventually you'll need a ladder to see it, and it'll look a little distorted in the initial.
You can take your kids there later, and I mean, what are you going to take them to a rusty padlock on a chain link fence? Yeah, I put that there. Prove it.
And this is something that is happening this article talks about it in Chicago, Paris, London, all of these places. One place got tired of cutting the locks off, and they just put up plexiglass to keep people from doing this. So I agree with that one. So far,
there's some equivalents to that have less meaning, which is just a tree with a whole lot of chewing gum on it.
Yes.
Or what was the other one? It just left my mind, but...
Yeah,
the shoes, or people will tie shoes together and throw them up on a power line or something.
There's some things that are so far this list is just hitting dead on. Now this one's going to get me in trouble because I'm pretty sure this did happen at my house, and at the time I thought it was dumb, and I probably still think it's kind of a dumb thing. Cake smashing photos. Do you remember the first birthday party for your child, and they bring out the smash cake? Let's take a 12-month-old, a 1-year-old who is already over-sugared, tired of everybody being around, grouchy, and let's strip their clothes off down to the diaper, put them at a table, and put a little cake in front of them so that they can mash it into tiny little pieces, get it all over the place, into the floor. it goes everywhere. Yeah. And most of the time, the kids don't even like it that much. But we think it's cool. And then an hour later, you're still dealing with the sugar high 12-month-old. And it's just not... It's just, why? I want to know why. Why did these start? Whose idea was it? Oh, you get cute pictures. No, you don't. You see disgruntled, angry children covered in cake and stressed out parents dealing with it.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of? You probably were there for this. You know how vomit-prone my son Jackson used to be?
Used to be? If you give him a Sprite and wind him up, better. He's still pretty
I think he knows what
it.
Makes him sick now. But when he was a little fella, somebody was having a birthday party up here at the church and having that moment, special moment where the kid gets the cake. And the child is in a high chair. The cameras are going, video's going. Jackson walks up between the camera and the child and just barfs all over the floor. Had to hit pause on the party there for a moment.
Clean up on all three. The smash cake became secondary.
Yeah. He'd already had some cake and Coke and whatever.
Oh, I don't remember that. But knowing Jackson and how he was at that age, I can picture it and the look. I can picture the look on his face as he walked up between the camera and to perform. That's a good memory. Oh, all right. Number 2. This one's going to be sensitive too, but it's got to stop.
Okay.
Elf on the Shelf needs to go away.
Hey, I proudly have never done Elf on the Shelf.
Worst thing ever.
Do we need to be careful here?
I'm being careful.
Do we have young listeners?
Started in 2005. It needs to stop in 2024.
Let's just say
I'm leaving it there.
Parents, the magic needs to end.
Parents, if you know, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
And you understand what I mean. Because it's cute and cuddly when you
weird.
Start, but it gets awkward. I'll leave it at that. And then last, but probably not least, because I could come up with more of these, unity candle ceremonies or any tying of the knot ceremony, showing unity, the pouring of sand. It's just awkward. It's an awkward time.
So many stories.
I will tell one from my own wedding. So we got married on the farm. You know, this was before farm weddings were cool, right? You know, nowadays it's cool to go get married in a barn.
You actually, somebody in your family owned the barn.
Yeah, it was at my in-laws' farm, and we got married. And in fact, they had to shoo things out of the barn to make it clean so that we could have the wedding at the barn. So we go to light our unity candle, and it's breezy, it's windy. We had tried lighting it before, you know, got the wick prepared, never lit. So the preacher doing our wedding finally said, we're going to symbolically light the unity candle. So we stood up there like two idiots.
That was an ad lib.
Yeah, he was just symbolically lighting a symbolic thing anyway. Yeah. It was just crazy. So that thing, and then that same candle, because we never used it, was used in Cassie's cousin's wedding, and it never lit. And they ultimately took it out, buried it in the ground, and it is still buried in the ground somewhere today in Georgia.
Yeah, it's not going to catch fire.
If you're at a wedding, it's just an awkward moment. They're playing a song, and everybody is just kind of sitting around like, oh, this is cool.
Well, when I'm in a rehearsal, if they will allow me any input, I'll tell them with the unity candle, if it lights and everything works out, you're going to get done before that song is over.
Yep.
So let me give you a little advice. Have your guy back there in the video room fade that song out, or you're going to be feeling very awkward.
You're going to be standing there for 3.5 minutes.
Nothing to do.
Yep.
One of my unity candle stories is very similar to your. There was a wedding that I went to in downtown Birmingham at one of the old churches. And the bride and groom did not know until wedding day that they don't allow candles in the church, fire hazard or something like that. So they were forced to pretend to light the candles.
Yeah. And
like yours, for a different reason, but
it was awkward.
And it's been, the sand and the ropes and all that has been a more recent development as well.
What's like?
The list is a modern thing.
And it's probably because the candles wouldn't light. So they were like, okay.
Right.
What
and I respect that. Sand is a lot more predictable.
It is. But
I think maybe I've done a wedding with the strings, the ropes, maybe one time.
I've been at a wedding with those once.
Ecclesiastes 4.
That's right.
I guess that's where it came from.
But those are the top 5, or the 5 that this one talks about. And I really thought it was a pretty good list. Now, as I was doing this, I was coming up with other things in my head, like Groundhog's Day needs to just go away. It's the dumbest thing in the world.
Not the movie, though.
Not the movie. The movie is Bill Murray's one of his top 2 movies. You got Ghostbusters and Groundhog's Day, top 2 Bill Murray movies, maybe.
What About Bob is good.
Oh yeah, those 3 would be
What About Bob
pinnacle.
is better than Groundhog Day. I have not seen Groundhog Day in a long time.
Groundhog Day makes me laugh. I watched it Saturday and it really made me laugh.
I tried to get my family to watch it and I could not get
very
traction
humorous
on that.
Very, very humorous movie. But there's a lot of those things that
they say that Punxsutawney Phil, is that his name?
Yep.
They claim that's the same groundhog as they claim he's 100 and something years old.
They also claim he tells them if spring is coming early or not.
In poetry.
And he doesn't. You know what he does? He probably walks out, sees a bunch of people with cameras standing around, panics, and goes back in. It's not he's seeing his shadow. He's seeing predators. That's what he sees. The other one that really gets on my nerves that needs to go away is the pardoning of the turkey by the president at Thanksgiving.
Yes.
It's just stupid. You know what
There's
turkeys are meant for?
Say.
Food.
Yeah.
They're made to go with gravy and dressing. That's what turkeys are here for.
One time a year.
Sustenance. But anyway,
I don't have any. I'm sure there's a lot of complaints
I'll stay
that
off
I
my
could
rant.
add.
Yeah, I'll stay off the rest of my rants.
About it. No, don't. The rants are what we come here for.
Well, you can throw in a lot of holidays, but I'm not going there. Birthday parties, things like that really get on my nerves.
Well, now for something completely different. Here's the headline. Alzheimer's can pass between humans in rare medical accidents, suggests study. I saw this earlier. There was something on Twitter or somewhere else where I quickly saw a headline that Alzheimer's was possibly contagious.
I've not seen this
and
article.
Then I got, I found the actual story, and it's not exactly that. I thought you'd find this interesting. And Alzheimer's is a serious subject. My mom has Alzheimer's.
Hey, my family has a long history
I'm interested in any research being done.
Yep.
So I read this with great interest. But here's the story. Alzheimer's can be spread from human to human through rare medical accidents. Although experts stress there is no evidence the disease can be passed between people through everyday activities or routine care. Researchers say a handful of people who received human growth hormone from the pituitary glands of deceased donors have gone on to develop early-onset Alzheimer's, likely because the hormones used were contaminated with proteins that seeded the disease in their brains. Isn't that interesting?
That is really, really interesting.
We're not suggesting for a moment you can catch Alzheimer's disease. This is not transmissible in the sense of a viral or bacterial infection, said Professor John Collins, co-author of the study. It's only when people have been accidentally inoculated essentially with human tissue or extracts of human tissue containing these seeds, which is thankfully a very rare and unusual circumstance. The team say the new work adds weight to the idea that Alzheimer's has similarities with prion diseases, including in the mechanism by which the proteins involved spread across the brain. And then it goes on to talk about prion diseases. Collins and colleagues report how between 1959 and 1985, so I want to read this part in case some listeners are afraid their children are in danger or something, because people are doing growth hormone injections and stuff now. This is very specific. Between 1959 and 1985, at least 1,848 patients in the UK received human growth hormone extracted from the pituitary glands of cadavers. However, the practice was banned in 1985 After it emerged, some patients subsequently died of CJD as a result of hormone samples contaminated with CJD causing proteins, which that must be a disease.
Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Of the 80 such cases in the UK, some were also found to have a protein called amyloid beta in their brains when they died, a hallmark of Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. While it was unclear if they should have gone on to develop symptoms of Alzheimer's, other research showed amyloid beta was present in some of the hormone batches and that these triggered Alzheimer's-like disease if administered to mice. And there's one more part of this I wanted you to hear. Andrew Doig, professor of biochemistry, said experts are already very careful about transmitting brain tissue between people. There's something, disease transmission from human brain to brain in this way should never happen again. That's how the article ends.
So you shouldn't worry about it. This was a thing that happened during a very specific time frame, but it'll never happen again is a little nerve-wracking.
I'm sorry, but
you got to be.
First of all, it's an interesting story, and it tells you a little about Alzheimer's. Maybe they discovered some things about Alzheimer's, some of these other diseases. But the other part of the story is the assurances from the medical community on top of other assurances that didn't pan out.
Well,
those patients from 1959 to 1985 in the UK were told some assurances as well.
Oh, yeah.
This is perfectly safe.
Well,
this will make you better, blah, blah, blah.
Well, even in recent history, some of the assurances they've given throughout the whole COVID period have not held real true. You know, it's always good in medicine of any type to avoid the absolutes anyway, right? It's good in life just to avoid it will never happen again.
Right. You don't give me an absolute. You're a human being. If you don't know.
Yeah, at that point you're not being completely
especially when you're talking about the brain.
Yeah, because we don't know anything about it. We know things about it, but the more we learn about it, the more we realize how much we don't understand it.
That's right.
You mentioned in one of the podcasts we were doing, you mentioned neuroplasticity. I mean, they're just now really getting into some of the stuff with it. It
science.
Is, yeah. You know, there's an interesting, and while you were reading this, I wish I could remember this study, but there's some research being done with the eye about early detection of Alzheimer's, doing real specific eye tests, screening for Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. And that's something we'll see in our lifetime that comes out. And it has to do with that amyloid protein, if I'm remembering right. I haven't read that article in a couple of years, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
Well, there's a lot of, with Parkinson's, there's a lot of research going into early detection. Mm-hmm. And early detection is fine, I guess, but I'm thinking, okay, you know it sooner, but what are you going to do about it? Well, that's the question.
So it's funny you say that. So there's some genetic testing available that we can do. Even now, I could order it on a patient tomorrow if I wanted, that would tell me if they have the genetic markers for macular degeneration, and you could find out if they're 45, 50 years old, your probability of having macular degeneration. And, you know, the reps come around and they try to sell these tests, and there's specific vitamins that they want you to use that go along that will slow it down.
Yeah,
my question,
slowing it down is the advantage, I guess.
If you buy their proprietary vitamin for a fee. But my question to them always is, so I know at 40, how does that change the outcome? Because there's not a lot of, especially on the dry form or non-exudative, there's just not a lot of good treatment out there for it. So do I want to know 10 years or 15 years earlier that this is coming so that I can worry about it more? Or do I want to just go along and blissful ignorance? Yeah.
It's the question, it's the philosophical question. If you could know how you were going to die, would you want to know?
Yeah. No.
You remember that movie Big Fish?
Yeah.
We used to talk about that movie. Yeah. There was a character in there, a witch or something, and she had an eyeball that if you looked into that eyeball, she wore a patch over it or something, you could see how you were going to die.
Yeah.
And that question freaks me out a little bit. I can tell you, I do not want to know how I'm going to go out.
Now, and that's where, I don't know, some of these advances in medicine. So I have a strong family history of Alzheimer's like you do. I had my grandmother, her sister, their father, all Alzheimer's on my mom's side of the family. And, my biggest fear is that's just going to keep traipsing down generation after generation. But do I want to know right now? But do I want to know right now that I'm going to have it? Or do I want to trust a test that might not be super specific and that might not be super accurate in what it's saying and worry about it and it not come to fruition? I don't know.
If and when they can really, truly slow it down, yes.
Yeah.
But I know with Parkinson's, you can slow it down a little bit, but I'm just going to be real. You're not going to slow it down much.
And it's the same with Alzheimer's. There's some of the meds out there will slow it down, but people continue to deteriorate in their mental capacity and in dementia, and it's sad. It's heartbreaking to see. I have
heard about some new medications for Alzheimer's that greatly slow down the progression.
Yeah,
and same with, they're working on that with Parkinson's.
Yeah,
but and that would be great.
I hadn't read that article. I'm gonna have to go and look and do some reading on that article. That's kind of a cool thing.
But in the post-COVID age, post-vaccine, COVID vaccine in particular age, people are just getting real skeptical. There's more people into holistic treatment and going to people who aren't really experts, who claim to be experts. I had somebody confront me at the lectureship I was just at. I say confront. She was trying to be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
She was trying to encourage me to go to a holistic doctor. And I said, I've been down that road many times.
Yeah.
And I get burned every time. She's like, well, not with my doctor. I'm like, no, I've spent thousands of dollars on these guys.
Yeah.
I do not want to go down that road again. I've got a doctor. Well, doctors are just in it for the money. I said, no, ma'am. They're trying to heal people.
That's right. Big Pharma is in it for the money.
But,
yes.
but I do understand the frustration with the medical community because there are these big promises like in that article, this will never happen again.
Yep.
Now take this vaccine we developed in 2 weeks and shut up and don't ask me any questions about it.
Yeah.
Well, wait
because
a
if
second.
you take it, you will not get COVID. You will not transmit COVID. And we've all had it multiple times. Right. And most of us had a vaccine.
We'll flatten the curve and we'll never have this problem. We'll be through this in
even things that are not
medicine
related. Their recommendations on isolation, on quarantine, their recommendations on masks.
Having to follow the arrows down the aisle of the grocery store.
We literally put painter's tape on our pews to mark off 6 feet because a virus is only going 6 feet. And then it's like, I have exceeded my distance limit. I'm going to stop. I mean, that's how, and that was the top medical minds in the world saying this.
Yeah.
And so
we got to give people a break knowing, I can see where it comes from. You got to rewind the tape and remember, we don't have a lot of experience with pandemics.
No.
In this country, hadn't been through it in the modern age. It's been 100 years. So, okay, I understand the arrows down the...
Yeah.
And the virus in the beginning was super strong.
It was.
Super dangerous.
It was.
But...
the next one they call, though, I'll be standing shaking my fist at it in revolt. So.
Yeah. We don't need to get into masks and stuff right now, I guess.
No, I might step on another soapbox today.
Welcome back. We're at the part of the podcast now where we introduce our passage. What have we got this week?
So we've got a quote from, we've done some philosophers, we've done some authors. I think this is the first entertainer that we've really done. So this one is, no one ever made a difference by being like everyone else. And it's by P.T. Barnum of Barnum and Bailey Circus fame. And this quote is attributed to P.T. Barnum. I have done a deep dive on it, and it seems that he said it, even though there's no necessarily written record. It's not in any of his writings. It kind of came back to light, to surface with the movie...
Greatest Showman.
Yeah, The Greatest Showman that came out. That was kind of the story of, I guess, P.T. Barnum. Hugh Jackman played that role.
Story of how Wolverine became a circus showman.
That is true, and I've never thought of it that way. But I really I think the quote's probably attributed to him. Everything I read said it is, but if it's not, it's still
a lot of singing in the movie. There's a lot of singing.
I don't think I've seen the whole movie.
Oh.
I think I've seen parts of it, and I think I remember turning it off. Is there a bearded lady in the movie?
There's a bearded lady.
That may have been when I cut it off.
She sings a lot.
I'm not a big movie guy.
I don't watch
tons and tons of movies. But I thought the quote was a really good one. No one ever made a difference by being like everyone else.
Mm-hmm. And Barnum, he challenged stereotypes.
He did.
Did he invent the circus or just take it to a whole new level?
I would think
things
the
like
circus,
that are never really invented.
I think the circus came out of the carnival movement, and he took the carnival idea and took it on the road worldwide.
Yeah.
Load them up on a train, load them up in trucks, and
he was a good businessman, right?
And I think
took a lot of risks.
He did, and I think he revolutionized and gave the carnival crowd a place to perform and be seen and maybe make a little more money doing it.
Mm-hmm.
He also terrified lots of children. I'm terrified of the circus because of the clowns. I can remember going to the circus in Atlanta at the Omni. Now, this is a long time ago. The Omni's not been there in forever. And we sat near the entrance where the animals would walk in. And I remember looking to my right or left, I don't remember which side, and a clown coming by on the same level I was, and it was on stilts walking out. And I am terrified of clowns. In fact, I was forced to take Taylor to the circus when he was at JCA years and years ago.
They went to the circus every year.
And Cassie bought our tickets, and I made her buy my tickets in the center of a section so that nothing would come down the row and get me. No clowns would come after me, which is a sad story.
Maybe revealing too much.
I probably should go back to the
oversharing.
Quote. So no one ever made a difference.
Well, wait a minute.
Like
I wanted to ask,
else.
while we're talking about the circus, is the circus banned now, or is it just the animals? Is there anybody doing?
I know PT
Barnum and Bailey. Are they out of?
It's gone. They shut down a couple of years ago.
This man's company that he started, Barnum and Bailey, is P.T. Barnum's company, and they're shut down.
They're done.
And a lot of that's over the treatment of animals.
That, and I think in today's world when we all have entertainment in the palm of our hands, we're not going to pay $45 or $35 to go sit and watch jugglers and acrobats.
And clowns.
Because you know what? We can turn on America's Got Talent and watch it in our living room. I mean, I think entertainment and our access to entertainment kills a lot of that kind of thing.
Well, it is something from the early 20th century or maybe before that.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the late 1800s.
Yeah, so we've kind of made some changes in the way we...
It was kind of, it was kind of cool to go to them and see those things.
I'm glad I got to have that experience.
Yeah, and I
remember going as a child.
I don't remember a lot of things from my childhood, but I can remember the Omni Barnum and Bailey Circus, and seeing the underneath the Omni was where the trains would come through, and the train parked down there where they moved all their stuff. It was just a really cool memory of mine, and I was young. I mean, that's an early memory, so and obviously affected me a lot because I'm now terrified of clowns. I don't know if that was the trigger point, but I'm claiming it.
Yeah. Well, one of the questions that came to mind when I heard this quote is, first of all, you've got to ask yourself, do I even want to make a difference? I would imagine there's a lot of people asking, why rock the boat?
That's a great question.
You start out, they don't agree with the premise.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to kind of what we talked about last week on the podcast, that people get very comfortable and very satisfied where they are, and they're afraid of getting out of that comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And why, like you said, why make a change?
I think, and I want to know if you agree with me, I think being a Christian demands that you make a difference in other people's lives.
Make a difference in other people's lives and stand out and be different from other people.
Be different, yeah.
Yeah, it's both things. You're supposed to help others be different.
Which is our great commission, to make disciples. You're talking about making a difference there.
That's right.
And you're right. You have to stand up. You're going to be different from the world,
Yep.
which is that everyone else part.
Yep. Which is probably the hardest part about being a Christian, is being different from the world and making a difference. Because when you're different, you stand out and you set yourself up for ridicule, for, I hesitate in this country to use the word persecution, but persecution. And so it makes it real easy to want to blend in with everybody around you and not make a difference.
Yeah, this kind of builds on the Epictetus quote about, the majority being like others. It's natural for us. It's a defense mechanism, not to stand out, to fit in. And that we see that repeated here in this wisdom. As we go through these passages, we see it'd be neat to do an episode someday. Maybe this is episode 100. Themes that we keep seeing pop up over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And we might actually learn something through this. But that's one of them, is that we're tempted to fit in, and that's not always the right thing to do. Well, but sometimes you got to stand out.
I think it's interesting, even with young children, they all want to act the same. It's rare to see somebody truly being different. It's the idea of peer pressure and wanting to fit in and not wanting to be different. But what this quote says is that if we want to make a difference, we can't fit in.
Right.
We can't be okay with the status quo. We can't be okay with being like everybody else. We have got to be different. And that's hard.
I have to bring this up because every time we say this quote, I think of this song that, I had a band in college called Terraplane.
They actually that's who's playing our entry music and our exit music on this.
I'm glad you bring that up. Our
absolutely
bumper music
wonderful.
is brought to you by Terraplane.
It is absolutely wonderful.
Well, we hunted down some good royalty-free music, and it was really hard.
Yeah.
Nothing seemed to match. And I thought, what's more royalty-free than my college band?
And it's perfect music.
So that's why we use it. And the song that we usually put in the middle is called Different. And the chorus says, I want to be different just like everyone else. I want to be different just like everyone else, which is not exactly what our quote is saying. The quote is saying if you want to make a difference, which is being different, if you want to make a difference, you can't be like everyone else. Yeah. But think about that song. Sometimes our actions or the things we say or attitudes to stand out or to show our identity is just mimicking someone else.
It's just trying to fit in with someone else we've seen or something we've read or
that, or also just the act of being rebellious.
Yeah.
Is a way of fitting in.
Yeah.
Because there's a movement of being rebellious. It's cool to rebel against your parents. Yeah. Well, there may be a variety of ways that you do that, but you're just doing it to be cool by that day's standards, by that time's standards. So a lot of this being different is not being different, it's just fitting in, and that's a whole nother little wrinkle that is tangentially related, which I think this is the first time I've ever used the word tangentially. But I
think you used it appropriately. It was a good use.
It's related to the quote, but not exactly the same thing.
So I think the hardest thing that we deal with by trying to be different from everyone else is, what does that look like? And I think a lot of that comes down to having a hard time sometimes defining ourselves outside of our peers. I see myself, sadly, based on what I do in life. So I'm an eye doctor. I see that as part of my identity. I'm a dad. I see that as part of my identity. But part of being different is defining and understanding who you are and letting the world adjust to who you are instead of you adjusting to what the world is doing. Mm-hmm. And that's a hard thing to do sometimes. But, we all try to create these images of who we are to fit into these certain areas of our life that we're involved with, instead of just saying, you know what, Jason Pullum is kind of a weirdo. He's got a little bit of a temper. He's kind of quirky, likes to read, likes to do woodworking. And if people don't like that, that's okay. Mm. People got to come to me. I'm not going to them. And I think that's why being different draws people to you, and why being different allows you to be successful sometimes is because you're not worried about what everybody else is thinking.
I'll tell you something personally that I've worked on my whole life unsuccessfully, and one of these days I want to get there, is being comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
Not being a people pleaser, not seeking other people's approval, not worrying about fitting. If I do fit in, that's fine.
Yeah.
And you know, if I seek out groups in which I fit in, that's something different. But if I happen to be around a group, I don't want to be the chameleon that is faking my way through life. I'm not saying that I do that. I'm just saying I feel that temptation to try to fit in
I
more than I should.
I do that a lot of times. That is one of my character flaws, is that I am a people pleaser, and I will change to the environment I'm in and the people I'm around. I can be one person here and another person there, and it's caused me a lot of heartache and problems in my life. And I'm just now at 44, almost 45 years old, starting to get comfortable with just being me. And
wouldn't it be great to just feel, and we know
and
people,
not worry about it.
I know a few people who seem, they may, if they were sitting here, they'd probably deny it, but they appear, and maybe that's them trying to be somebody they're not, but they appear to be comfortable in their own skin, and just, they take me or leave me, I don't care. But that's something I'm working on. Now, here's another thing, and this is something else I wanted to talk about, and that is we're in a very individualistic age. Mm-hmm. Individualism is upheld as a virtue. Being different for the sake of being different, standing out for the sake of standing out, being rebellious is part of our culture, which that gets back to the lyrics of the song a little bit. And so what we have to be careful about as Christians is I need to make a difference to the glory of God, not to my own glory. Yep. And that's also very hard. Can I add to the value of others? Can I add to the value of this world? Can I make my contributions and disappear behind Christ and maybe not get the credit for it?
It's a tough thing. It's tough to do something and not get the credit in any situation. At least it is for someone that's prideful, and I definitely deal with that a lot. I kind of like people to think I'm this awesome guy and, oh, look how great he's done. But that's not Christ-like. That's not Christ-like at all, and it's not the different that we're commanded to be, really. I haven't thought about it.
That's who we make the difference for, is for God.
Bringing it up that way, that's an angle of it I hadn't really thought about.
Because if we search our hearts, we want to win that trophy, we want to be the bestseller author, we want to be the well-known whatever it is, fill in the blank.
Top podcast.
Top podcast. We want our name up in lights. And if they, at least we think we do.
Yeah.
Now, I think people who have made it to the top will tell you it's not all that.
Yeah.
I've heard examples of celebrities who've won the Oscar or won the Grammy and said, I got to the top and it didn't feel the way that I thought it would feel.
Yeah.
And that's because we're not meant to glorify ourselves. We're meant to glorify God. Well, we can make a difference. We just need to do it for God's sake.
Well, and our appetite for success starts being fed by being successful. And it's like, okay, that's great, I've done that, but what's going to be the next big thing? What can I do to top this? And we're never content. And I think part of being different in today's world is kind of learning to be content in yourself. It goes back to living that true identity, knowing yourself, being comfortable in your own skin, and being okay with being a little bit different. Because if we're truly Christian, people should see that in our lives. We shouldn't have to say, hey, I'm a good Christian, which it irks me when people say they're a good Christian. It's just they're a Christian. I mean, we're all trying to be good. We all
bad Christians?
Yeah, that's what. But
mediocre Christians.
If I have to walk around saying, hey, I'm a Christian, then I'm not living right.
Yeah.
If I'm not representing
it should show
the difference in my life by how I act and how I interact with others, then I may not be I may not be very different from everybody else. And that comes down to how often and how easy is it for us to leave the walls of the church building and then blend in with the rest of the world and then come back and be Christian on Sunday. And it's this whole idea of being congruous in who we are. And I think in our Christianity, a lot of times we're very incongruous.
Yeah. Let me throw another one at you. If we're not meeting resistance, if people aren't opposing us, if we're not standing out a little, if life's not a little bit uncomfortable, then we're not making a difference.
That's true. Yeah.
If we go with the flow, if everything's smooth sailing, then it's a pretty good indication that we're not making a difference in the world around us. Expect opposition when you try to grow, when you try to make a difference, when you contribute, add value to your surroundings. People are not going to like that a whole lot.
Yeah.
People don't like change as a rule.
No. And it's even, you don't have to necessarily be swimming upstream against the current for that to happen. Just veering off a little bit from the current will create people not liking what you're doing. Hey, he's something a little different about that guy over there. And I think sometimes we think about making a difference as we have to be walking in absolute opposition to everything going on around us. But sometimes being different is just having a few subtle things that make you stand out, even though it's that whole idea of living in the world, being a part of the world, but not being of the world.
Right.
At least that's what pops to my head.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, here's what I'm going to do. Little bonus for those that waited to the end of the podcast.
Oh, I'm ready for a bonus.
For our outro music, we're going to play Different by Terraplane as we go out.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let the song play all the way to the end.
I'm going to set my cassette player to record it so I'll have it.
Well,
I don't really have a cassette player. Actually, I think I have all your music on MP3 somewhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did for a while. You sent them to me a long time ago.
I can resend it if you're interested, but don't get your hopes up if you haven't heard it before. But
guys, it's really good music.
It'd be interesting. It's interesting, and it's royalty free, so nobody's going to shut us down for playing it.
That's right.
And it'll give you a little something to do between episodes.
Yeah.
But we will be back, and I think we might have a special guest with us next week.
Our good old friend Tim should be back.
I believe that Tim will return.
I don't think he's traveling. I think all of us will be here next week.
And we'll have to adjust. Tim's going to have a lot of good stuff to share with us. I'm prepared. We may just want to sit back and let him take over.
Have you met the two of us? We like to
Can
talk.
we do that?
We would definitely have to be different than we normally are. People would notice.
Right. That's right. Well, check us out. Check out our other episodes if you haven't done that. And always, we love to have ratings and reviews. Whatever you follow us on, Spotify, Apple, leave us a rating and a review and tell other people about it. And stay tuned until next time.
They talk about saving us. What if we don't want to be saved? They talk about reaching us. What if we don't want to behave? I want to be different. I want to be different. I want to be different, just like everyone else. I want to be different. I want to be different. Different. They talk about a new confusion, revolution, restitution, a new frontier, and a new root beer, and another tier 2 for everyone else. Put me in an institution. Talk about the world, how it changes round. They talk about how they don't wanna drown. They talk about how they don't want to. Well, they found and I say, and I say, and I say, I don't wanna hear what I say. I say I don't wanna be another rock and roll hoochie coo. Well, I wanna be different. I wanna be different. I wanna be different, just like everyone else. I wanna be different. I wanna be different. I wanna wear the clothes of an angel. I wanna sit here and float up and down. I wanna get lost and not be found. I wanna wake up and